All right, let's jump right in. Today we're talking about something pretty cool, a whole new category of tech called physical AI. Now, this isn't just some abstract idea. It's something that could totally transform our biggest industries. And we're going to look at it through the eyes of a startup that's actually making it happen. So check this out. There's this startup, Omnimac, and they're making a huge claim. They're basically saying, forget what you think you know. The real future of AI, it's not locked away in the cloud. Nope. It's right here in the physical world, getting its hands dirty. Okay, so what in the world is physical AI? Well, think of it like this. For the longest time, AI has been like a brain in a jar, right? Super smart, but stuck behind a screen. Physical AI is about giving that brain a body. It's about embedding that intelligence directly into machines, into infrastructure, giving it the eyes, ears, and hands to actually do stuff in the real world. But why now? Why is this such a big deal? Well, to really get it, you've got to look at the massive problems that heavy industries are facing. These are the kinds of gritty, real-world issues that the AI we've known so far, the one living in the cloud, just hasn't been able to touch. Problem number one is a double whammy: money and the environment. We're talking about industries literally bleeding cash because of inefficiencies, how they use energy, how they make things, how they handle materials. And here's the kicker: almost every single dollar wasted also means a bigger carbon footprint. It's a lose-lose. Next up, we're talking about places where the stakes are incredibly high. Think about a deep mine, a busy factory floor, or an offshore oil rig. These aren't offices. They're complex, dangerous environments where one small mistake, one tiny equipment failure can lead to disaster, huge safety risks, and shutdowns that cost a fortune. And last but not least, there's the innovation problem. Let's say you've identified a problem and you need a new piece of hardware to fix it, maybe a custom robot or a new sensor. Well, good luck. The R&D for that kind of thing is just painfully slow and ridiculously expensive. It completely stifles a company's ability to adapt and solve problems quickly. So you see the challenges, right? This is the landscape Omnimac is stepping into. They were basically born to solve these exact problems. Let's dive into how they're actually doing it. And their mission statement? It gets right to the point. They're not here to make tiny tweaks. Their goal is huge. They want to use this next-generation physical AI to completely rebuild these industries from the ground up, making them run on their own and be sustainable for the long haul. So the big question is, how? What's the secret sauce? Well, it's this really smart three-part stack. First, they build and test everything in the virtual world, using what's called digital engineering. It's like a sandbox. Once they've perfected it, they bring it to life in the real world with embedded systems, the actual hardware, the sensors, and the whole time guiding every decision is this laser focus on sustainability. And don't think for a second this is just for one or two specific industries. No way. This approach can be applied almost everywhere. We're talking defense, aerospace, mining, manufacturing, even smart cities and healthcare. These are the absolute pillars of our modern economy. Okay, I know what you're thinking. This all sounds great on paper, right? But does it actually work, when the rubber meets the road? Well, this is where things get really interesting. Let's look at the numbers. First up, 5%. Now, 5% might not sound like a lot, but for one of their oil and gas clients, a 5% boost in throughput efficiency, that's huge. In an industry of that scale, that's a game changer. So what does that 5% actually look like in dollars and cents? It looks like over $800,000 in value. Just think about that. For one client, on one project. That's real, tangible impact. Let's take another one, 12%. This time, it's 12% in savings for a different company. And how'd they do it? They used AI-powered machine vision, basically smart cameras, to catch safety violations before they happened. That stopped what they call revenue leakage. The money you lose from fines or having to shut down. Pretty clever. And it's not just a one-off. Look at this table. It basically lays out the highlights from their first 4 pilot programs. It doesn't matter if it's finding faults in equipment for one company or giving another a better view of their supply chain. The results are there. Consistent, measurable wins, time and time again. But here is the part that really blew my mind. All of this, all these results, this hard proof, they did it all in just 3 months. 3. That's an insane speed to prove that your entire business model works. It's just, wow. And they weren't just running pilots. In that same 3-month window, They also locked down 5 strategic partnerships to help them get to market. They developed 5 of their own digital engineering solutions, and they even built out an MVP for an embedded system. They've been busy. Okay, so this kind of early success, this kind of speed, it obviously points to something much, much bigger. So let's zoom out a bit. Just how big is the opportunity we're talking about here? Well, the tech they're using is the future. You've got agentic AI. That's AI that can actually do things on its own. You've got machine vision, which we just talked about, and sensor fusion, which is like giving the AI super senses by combining data from lots of different sources. And look at these markets. We're not talking about small potatoes here. These are markets worth tens of billions of dollars, and they're all growing like crazy. So, to jump on this massive opportunity and really hit the accelerator, Omnimac is looking to raise $2 million. And they have a very clear plan for that money. It's not just going into a big pot. They're splitting it 3 ways. A chunk for R&D to make the tech even better, a chunk to fund more pilots to prove the value to more clients, and a chunk to actually build out their sales and marketing to go after this huge market. Of course, an idea is only as good as the team behind it, right? Well, the founders here are the real deal. We're talking more than 10 years of experience for each of them, coming from top-tier engineering and business schools. And their backgrounds? It's like they were handpicked for this mission. They've got the deep hardware experience, the AI software chops, and the sustainability know-how. They've covered all the bases. So this all brings us back to that one big question. Can AI that actually touches and interacts with the physical world solve our biggest industrial and environmental problems? Omnimac is betting everything that the answer is a huge, resounding yes. And honestly, looking at their incredible start, it really does seem like the next great leap for AI won't be happening in the cloud. It's going to be right here, on the ground, getting its hands dirty, and building a much smarter, safer, and more sustainable world for all of us.